I really don't even know where to start. I lost my job because, I don't know, the reason is we're not busy enough, obviously. It's the reason they give me. I have speculation, but I won't get into that. I've been wanting to not work that job anymore for a while, and my anxiety has just been pushing off, like finding something new, so I'm hoping that this is just God's way of pushing me in the right direction. I'd like to think the universe has a plan for me, even if I defy it sometimes. But really, you should know by now that I'm going to do what I want to do. Maybe we can meet in the middle somewhere. Last night when I wanted to film this video, there was a lot of rage in me, and it would have been boisterous and but it's just, that's not really what I feel now. I'm kind of just sad and stressed because money controls everything, and I know I'll be okay. I have about $500 in cash, $4.5 grand in savings, but after rent this month, I'll only have $4 about. It's nice because for the next 6 months of rent payments, Nathan is paying me back. Because when we moved here, we had to pay like the deposit and then 3 months rent. So the deposit was half a month's rent, which was like $925, and then 3 months rent, so the whole thing was like over $6 grand. And he had the money, but it's all like tied up in various things. So, but I had 11 grand in savings, so I just paid it. But now it's kind of nice because, well, one, we didn't have to pay anything for the first few months living here, which allowed us to like buy a bed and a bed frame. Like, I've never owned a bed frame in my adult life, and a TV and like just basic stuff so that we're not like sleeping on the floor and bumming it. But now for the next 6 months, he's basically paying me back, so I really only have to pay about $500 a month in rent. So like, I'm not worried. There have been times where I didn't know if I'd be able to pay rent, back when I was still in college. I lost 30 pounds. Like, I'm not a big girl. I wouldn't consider myself small either, like I'm curvy, but I was 30 pounds lighter than I am now, or 25 pounds lighter than I am now, and like I don't got a lot, so 30 pounds was a lot to lose, but I mean, that's what happens when you can only afford a meal a day, if that sometimes. And during that time in my life was also when I started to feel more, it started in high school, but I didn't really place it in high school. I just assumed it was because, I was working 25, 30 hours a week. I was going to school full time, and then I was also hanging out with my friends and my boyfriend at the time, and not sleeping enough. So when I would feel like hazy and weird, I didn't really think anything of it, because I was just going and going and going and going. And I mean, that's been my life until the accident. And then it was 3 months of going nowhere. because when you can't walk, you can't really go a lot of places, and I didn't really have friends that drove. The one I did ended up not being able to be my friend because of his personal feelings towards me. And my other friend, who does drive but had his license suspended, he was the one I ended up spending all of my time with. Hi, Kyron, if you're watching this, I love you, and I love your daughter, and I love the time that we got to spend together then, even if we were both in bad places. When are we not, right? I've never needed a lot of people in my life, like a few good ones, and that has kind of made it so I cycle through people, a lot ending on bad terms, a lot I'm still close with, I'm still friends with, but obviously like not how we were at like whatever stage in our friendship we were when we were really, really close. I still have love for anybody who has ever been in my life in a close way. Like if we have stayed up and had deep conversations, if we've laughed our heads off, if we've gotten food together, if we've shared a meal, if we've shared a drink, I still have love for you. And I'm sorry if I ever wronged you. If you're watching, I mean, there's a bunch of people who this could apply to. And I'm sorry to you all. I feel remorse for the bad things I've done. And to the ones who I was always good to, thanks for always being good to me too. Because typically if I've wronged you, it's because I've also been wronged, which isn't right. Two wrongs don't make a right. We all know that by now, but that's neither here nor there. So I got fired. Well, I didn't get fired. I got laid off. But what's the difference, right? Semantics. And it's a job that had so much potential. This space has so much potential to do so many cool things. Like, they have a rationale oven. Those things are fucking gorgeous, beautiful. So handy. They have so many really cool silicone molds, you know, big mixer, good space. Like the bakery is upstairs, it's separate, 2 big countertops and a line for plating. And like I could just envision, I got to do one feature and it wasn't even that good. Like it was fine. Definitely not my best work, but not my worst either, you know? But I saw so much potential in that space. And it's a shame, really. It is really a shame that pastry isn't respected in the way that I wish it was, in the way that I see it, and have always seen it. Like, there's a reason I wanted to do pastry and not cooking. One, as much as I've done it. My first kitchen job, I was a dishwasher first, but then I was a line cook, and it's like, I can work a line, I can, see, oh, this is going, this needs to be done, do this and this together, and like all of those things like in the moment, which is a very hard thing to do. If you've ever been a line cook, you'll understand, or you won't, and you're probably not a very good line cook, because it's definitely not a skill that's easy, and it's something you either have it or you don't. You either see or you don't see, and well, that's just how it is. And as much as I could do that, it's just not what I wanted. I love cookies and bread and pastry and cakes and desserts, and I don't really like eating cakes, but I really like making cakes. And working with my pastry chef through various restaurants and all of that, and seeing the talent that he possessed and the things that he was able to do and the things that he taught me, and now the things that I'm able to do, and how well we worked together as a team before everything went downhill and spiraled, but that was for a lot of reasons that didn't pertain to the job itself, which I won't get into because that's not what this is about. But all of that experience that I had going into this new job, seeing this space, I just had such high hopes, and I should know better by now to not be hopeful. But I was, and then the standard wasn't what I would keep it at if I was in charge. So I was frustrated a lot of the time, going in, and nothing was ever in the same place twice. There would be, 5 grams of something saved and then not used in the next recipe, and I mean, a million things, a million little things that bother just me because I'm so organized, and I don't want to have to spend my first 45 minutes to an hour finding where everything is, finding what I need to be doing, reorganizing and doing things that should be done. And that's not to say the pastry chef that works there, she has a lot of talents that I don't possess. She knows a lot more technical knowledge, in the sense of verbiage, whereas I just kind of know how to do things. I'm just kind of trash, but really efficient and talented trash. And I know how to run a pastry kitchen. It's all fine and dandy to go talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? Can you, manage a pastry department? And the short answer of it is no, she couldn't. She doesn't know how to stand up for pastry. She doesn't know how to stand up for herself. And I think she's older, and a lot to do with culture and age, and she's a woman, and I don't blame her for being timid and not standing up for herself. And I think she's lovely as a human being. If you ever watch this, I think you're lovely, and I had fun there. Sometimes, other times not. I always appreciated the free staff meal. But yeah, I think it's good that I'm not working there anymore. I hope I don't go too long without a job, but honestly, I just don't want to work anymore. I know I'm 22 and a long road ahead of me in this, but I just am in pain, physically, emotionally. And then I think, should I pursue this fucking YouTube? I've posted nearly 200 videos, and what? Nobody's watching. Not that but that's the thing, is I'm not trying to get people to watch. If I was actively actively talking about things that are relevant and using hashtags and getting a TikTok. I don't have a TikTok, and that's not to say, I have lots of ideas for TikToks that I think haven't been done before because they're my ideas. And music that I listen to that I don't think the type of people who are on TikTok listen to, but things that in sort of a bubble, a few lyrics could relate to a lot of people, and so there are things that could potentially go viral. And it's I know I'm pretty. I'm not so pretty that I could be a beauty guru, or so pretty that I could just be an Instagram model, or I have a fucking huge gap in my teeth, and I know that's blah blah blah. everybody's perfect, whatever, but it's like, no, we all know that a certain type of pretty does better. And if you've seen a lot of my talking videos, you know that my face is kind of wonky, and that's fine. Like, I love being pretty in the sense of like dressing up and putting on makeup and all of those things, and I've always been girly. A girl just went out on the balcony and took a video. I wonder if I was in it. Well, she's in mine now. Hi. And now I'm just rambling. But yeah, it's like, okay, do I try to pursue this? Like, I have all of this time. Do I really, like, put all of this effort in to try to be famous, which is something that, like, I don't even want, you know? But I don't know how AdSense works, but I really don't need a lot of money to survive. So, like, how many followers do I need to make $2,000 a month? You know, if I'm making $2,000 a month, I'm able to save money. Which I know lots of people don't even make that. But I'm lucky because I don't drive, so that's a huge cost that I don't have. And I grew up poor. I grew up really poor. So I know how to budget, and I know how to sacrifice, and I know a lot of, you know, ways to not spend money. And that's not to say, like, I'm very impulsive. Like, I'll go to Dollarama to get 2 things and spend $100, which is an awful, like, habit. And it's like, I have the spending habits of my father, but the worry of my mother. So I never, like, extend myself so much that I'm fucked, but I also am impulsive and I like spending money, and it's so easy to spend money. It's so hard to make money, and it's so easy to spend money, which is like fucking ugh. So yeah. I just wanted to rant and talk and fucking just release some of this energy and some of this sadness, because I really just want to cry. And I know, like, people have it worse, people have it better, that's life. And I know I'm very fortunate in a lot of ways. I'm very fortunate. And I know I probably will find a job soon enough that I'm not, you know, out on the street. But there's just so much, and I feel like I'm losing myself. I used to be smart. Like, I used to be smart, and now, like, I have trouble writing a cover letter because I'm just so foggy, and it's like, okay, is this anxiety or is this something else? And it's like, I just feel like there's something wrong. And I'm like, okay, is it just in my head, like, as in anxiety, depression, all of these things, or, like, do I have something physically wrong with me on the inside that, you know, until it's so bad, I'm not gonna get it checked out because, well, 1, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and 2, fuck that. Like, I know how dismissive doctors can be. I have a video on here that's quite hidden, so even if you're watching this now, you probably won't be able to find it. It's unlisted. About an experience I had that I won't get into now. But seeing as this is almost 20 minutes, and it's a whole lot of nothing, I'm gonna sign off. Not that I have a sign off. Should I do Vlogmas? Maybe. Fuck. It wouldn't be your traditional Vlogmas. They'd all be like 2 minutes, if that. Some of them would probably be 10 seconds, which is the norm for my channel. It's so funny because I have videos that are like literally 5 seconds, and then other videos that, like this one, are 20 minutes, and I'm gonna upload this whole thing. I'm not gonna watch it, I'm not gonna edit it, I'm gonna upload it, I'm gonna delete it off of my phone so I can have more storage. And then, yeah, that's it, that's all. Like, fuck, man.